My wife paid her assistant $80,000 in front of the entire company. She paid me $800. That was not the part that ended my marriage. The part that ended it was the way she looked at me after the number appeared on the screen. Not sorry, not embarrassed, not even surprised, just annoyed that I had seen it. Vanessa Cole stood at the front of the all-hands room with a microphone in one hand and her other hand resting lightly on Liam Chase's shoulder like he had personally dragged Helix Core Systems out of a burning building. Liam smiled at the applause. I watched his reflection in the glass wall behind her. 29 years old. Perfect haircut. Soft hands. Company vest zipped halfway over a shirt he had not paid for. The kind of man who learned 3 business terms and said them slowly enough to sound dangerous. Before we head into the New York Investor Roadshow, Vanessa said, I want to recognize the people who got us here. The room clapped. I did not. I sat at the end of the second row with my laptop open. A production alert blinking in the corner of my screen. 3 hospital networks were running live simulations on PulseGrid. The predictive engine I wrote before Helix Core had a logo. Before Vanessa had a title. Before Liam Chase had learned how to pronounce architecture. Vanessa clicked the remote. A slide appeared. Special Performance Awards. People leaned forward. A few laughed. Someone whispered, "Here we go." Vanessa smiled. Leadership is not always about writing the first line of code, she said. Sometimes it is about bringing the right people into the room, keeping investors aligned, and making sure vision becomes reality. Liam lowered his eyes like he was humble. He was not. The first name appeared. Liam Chase. Strategic Execution Bonus. $80,000. The room erupted. Liam touched his chest and mouthed, "Wow." Vanessa squeezed his shoulder. "You earned it," she said into the microphone. Then my name appeared. Ethan Cole. Founder Appreciation Stipend. $800. The applause broke in half. Not stopped. Broke. A few people clapped because they had already started and did not know how to stop. One engineer coughed. Someone in the back said, very quietly, "Jesus." I looked at the slide. $800. For 5 years of architecture. For 3 patents. For the system running under every product demo Vanessa had ever sold. For the late nights when she slept upstairs and I slept under my desk because a hospital client in Ohio needed a fix by morning. For the first check I wrote from my personal account when payroll nearly failed. For the source code she had once called the only reason we have a company. Vanessa kept talking. Ethan, of course, has been part of the early technical journey, she said. Part of early journey. 3 small words. 3 clean cuts. Liam turned toward me and gave a little smile. Not wide, not obvious. The room was watching. He knew better than to perform too loudly. I closed the production alert. I opened my phone. Recording started. Vanessa continued. But Helix Core is entering a new phase now. We are no longer a founder experiment. We are a serious enterprise company. That means operational leadership matters. Liam stepped forward and took the microphone from her. That was new. He had not earned the right to hold that microphone. Thank you, Vanessa, he said. Really, this company means everything to me. He looked around the room like he owned the ceiling. I know some people think Helix Core is just code. But code doesn't close partnerships. Code doesn't convince hospital boards. Code doesn't walk into a room and make people believe. He looked at me. People do. I kept the phone angled against my laptop. Good audio. Clear face. Vanessa did not stop him. That mattered. Liam gave the microphone back to her and walked down from the front. He did not return to his seat. He came straight toward me. The room pretended not to watch. He stopped beside my chair. Don't take it personally, man, he said softly. Some people build products. Some people build companies. I looked up at him. He was smiling. I could see the faint shine of Vanessa's Cartier watch on his wrist. My watch. The one I had left on the kitchen counter last month and Vanessa said she had sent out for repair. I glanced at his wrist. He noticed. His smile widened by a fraction. Nice, right? He said. Vanessa said it didn't really fit your style anymore. I looked back at the stage. Vanessa. She stopped mid-sentence. Every head turned. Her face changed first. Not fear. Irritation. Yes. Ethan? Did you approve this? She held the microphone near her chest. Approve what? The 80,000. Her eyes flicked to Liam. Then back to me. Yes. And the 800. Her jaw tightened. Yes. Someone in the first row shifted. I nodded once. Good. Vanessa frowned. Good? I just wanted the room to hear that. Her voice cooled. Do not embarrass me in front of the team. That sentence did what the slide had not. It made the room go dead. Not quiet. Dead. I stood slowly. My stitches were not real. Not yet. That came later. But something inside me pulled the same way. A clean tear under the ribs. Embarrass you? I asked. Vanessa lowered the microphone. Ethan, sit down. No. Liam laughed under his breath. I turned to him. He stopped. I looked back at my wife. The PulseGrid contract came from my architecture. Vanessa exhaled sharply. Your architecture did not close the contract. No, I said. It only made the contract possible. Liam lifted both hands. Come on, man. Don't do this. Today is a win for everybody. I looked at him. You got $80,000. He shrugged. Performance matters. I got 800. 800 buys a nice dinner. A woman from finance looked down at her shoes. Someone from engineering whispered, Liam, shut up. He did not. He leaned closer. Maybe take Vanessa somewhere nice, he said, if she has time. Vanessa snapped. Enough. I looked at her. For one stupid second. I thought she meant him. She did not. She meant me. That was the moment. Not the money. Not the watch. Not the slide. That. My wife watched another man mock me with my own life's work behind him. And her first instinct was to protect the room from my reaction. I smiled. Felt strange on my face. You're right, I said. Vanessa blinked. What? $800 buys a nice dinner. I closed my laptop. Consider it my farewell meal. Her expression hardened. Don't be dramatic. I'm not. I picked up my phone. Recording saved. I sent the file to 3 people before I left the room. First, Mara Whitman, my patent attorney. Second, Richard Hayes, the only outside director who still read technical documents before voting. Third, Daniel Price, the cloud security lead who had been with me since the garage days and still owed Vanessa nothing. The message was the same to all 3. They just valued my work at $800. Freeze my private license review. Vanessa stepped off the stage. Ethan, she said. I kept walking. She caught my arm near the glass door. Not hard. Public enough to look intimate. Firm enough to be a warning. Do not walk out during my all hands, she said. I looked at her hand on my sleeve. Then at her. Your all hands? Her lips parted. She realized the mistake. Too late. This is not the time, she said. I almost laughed. That was her favorite sentence. She used it for everything. When Liam started sitting in on our late-night product calls. Not the time. When investors stopped asking me technical questions because Liam answered first. Not the time. When Vanessa removed my name from the Series C deck and called it message discipline. Not the time. When I found Liam's overnight bag in our guest room after a conference dinner ran late. Not the time. I nodded. You're right, I said. This is not the time. Relief flickered in her eyes. Mistake number 2. It's the record, I said. Her hand fell from my sleeve. What does that mean? It means we are past the part where you explain things to me in hallways. Liam walked up behind her. Everything okay? He asked. I looked at Vanessa. She looked at him first. Small movement. Big answer. I stepped away. Ask your strategic execution bonus. Liam's face tightened. Vanessa's voice dropped. Ethan, if you leave now, you make yourself look unstable. I opened the glass door. No, I said. I make myself unavailable. I walked out before she could answer. At 3:14 p.m., Mara called. I was in the elevator. Tell me you recorded the whole thing, she said. I did. Good. Tell me you did not threaten anyone. I didn't. Better. Tell me PulseGrid is still under your personal IP holding structure. It is. She was quiet for half a second. Then she said, then Vanessa has a problem. No, I said. She has Liam. Mara did not laugh. Lawyers rarely laugh when they smell blood. They just sharpen the paper. I'm pulling the licensing file now, she said. Do not send any emotional texts. Do not answer calls unless you record them legally. Do not touch production access yet. I already sent Daniel a freeze review notice. A review is fine. A shutdown is not. Not yet. Understood. Ethan. What? Her voice softened by 1 degree. Are you okay? The elevator doors opened to the parking garage. I looked at my reflection in the black doors of Vanessa's Tesla. I looked like a man who had slept 4 hours in 3 days and just learned the company he built had turned him into a ceremonial employee. No, I said, but I'm useful. That will do for today. I ended the call. Vanessa called 12 minutes later. I let it ring. Then a text came. Vanessa, come back upstairs. We need to present unity before New York. Unity. Not apology. Not explanation. Unity. I screenshotted it. Then another text. Vanessa. Liam feels terrible about how that came across. I stared at that one longer. Not Vanessa feels terrible. Liam feels terrible. I wrote back 1 line. Then he can return the watch. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Vanessa, are you seriously doing this over a bonus? I typed. No, I'm doing this over ownership. I did not send it. Mara's voice was in my head. Every word now either helps you or helps them. I deleted the message. I sent nothing. At 4:02 p.m., Daniel Price called. He did not say hello. Liam just requested elevated access to the model registry. I sat in my car and closed the door. On what basis? Series C demo preparation. Who approved? Vanessa. I closed my eyes. There it was. Not jealousy. Not misunderstanding. Not wounded pride. Pattern. Did he get in? I asked. No. His token bounced. He doesn't have clearance for weights. Preserve the logs. Already done. Do not block Vanessa. Daniel paused. You sure? Yes. Let her make clean choices. I hate when you say things like that. I hate needing to. He sighed. Ethan, do you want me to alert the board? Not yet. Send the logs to Mara and Richard. Quietly. Done. And Daniel? Yeah. If anyone tries to copy the PulseGrid weights, I want timestamp, user, machine ID, IP, and command history. You'll have it. Good. I drove home alone. Vanessa did not come home. At 6:18 p.m., a photo appeared on LinkedIn. Vanessa Cole and Liam Chase at Atelier Meridian. Private investor dinner. San Francisco. Her caption read, Building the future with the people who believe in it. Liam commented under it within 2 minutes. Proud to stand beside a leader who knows how to bet on talent. I stared at the post. Then I opened our shared calendar. The dinner had originally said, Vanessa plus Ethan. Pre-roadshow investor prep. My name had been removed at 5:02 p.m. Replaced by Liam. I screenshotted that too. At 7:30, I walked through the house and noticed what I had stopped noticing. Liam's fleece on the back of a kitchen chair. Liam's protein powder in the pantry. Liam's pitch notes on my dining table. A Helix Core visitor badge with his name sitting beside our wedding photo. Visitor. That word almost made me smile. He had stopped visiting months ago. He had occupied. I picked up the badge and placed it in a cardboard box. Then the fleece. Then the protein powder. Then the pitch notes. On the top page, I saw a handwritten line in Liam's blocky. Overconfident handwriting. Reframe founder dependency. Under it, Ethan equals legacy tech. Liam equals scalable vision. I photographed it. Then I turned the page. There was a draft slide. PulseGrid 2.0. A HelixScore proprietary intelligence platform. Product leadership. Liam Chase. My name was nowhere. I took a picture. Then another. Then I sent them to Mara. Her reply came fast. Do not confront. Preserve originals. Bag them if necessary. I found a clean folder and slid the notes inside. At 8:11 p.m., Richard Hayes called. Richard was 72, rich enough to be rude, and old enough to know when a CEO was selling smoke. I saw the recording, he said. And your wife has lost her mind. She would call it vision. She can call it whatever she wants. Does the company own PulseGrid? No. Does the company have an active commercial license? Yes. Can that license be revoked? Under breach conditions. Have breach conditions occurred? I looked at Liam's notes on the table. Not fully proven yet. Richard grunted. Careful answer. Correct answer. Good. I'm convening a governance call tomorrow. Don't. Silence. Then he said, Excuse me? If you convene now, Vanessa will spin it as a marital dispute. It is a marital dispute. No. It is an IP and fiduciary issue that happens to involve my wife. Richard was quiet again. Then he said, You sound calm. I am. That worries me more. It should. At 9:04 p.m., Vanessa finally called. This time I answered. She did not start with hello. Did you tell Richard? No. Don't lie to me, Ethan. I said no. He texted me asking whether the board had reviewed the new investor deck. Then Richard can read a calendar. She inhaled sharply. Do you have any idea what you did today? Yes. You made Liam look bad in front of the team. I looked at the box of his things. No. Liam did that himself. He was trying to be gracious. Was he wearing my watch graciously? Silence. Good. She knew. Vanessa. It was sitting in a drawer. It was on my dresser. You never wore it. So you gave it to him. He admired it. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was clean. Some betrayals arrive with hotel receipts and lipstick. Mine arrived with a Cartier watch and a payroll slide. Tell him to return it. I said, You're being petty. He can keep the 80,000. I want the watch back. You are not listening to me. No, I said. For the first time in years. I am. Her voice hardened. You're jealous. There it was. The word every guilty person uses when evidence starts forming a shape. Of Liam? Yes. No. Then what is this? Inventory. She scoffed. Inventory. Yes. I'm figuring out what belongs to me. A pause. Then, very softly, she said, Be careful with that. I leaned back in my chair. There she was. The CEO. Not the wife. Not the woman who once sat beside me on our apartment floor eating cold pizza while I fixed a production outage at 3:00 a.m. The CEO who believed every room should bend before she had to apologize. Or what? I asked. You think HelixCore can't survive without you? I looked at the laptop on the table. PulseGrid status. Active. Model registry. Private. Commercial license. Conditional. No, I said. I think you're about to test it. She laughed once. Sharp and tired. You write code. Ethan. Liam builds momentum. I wrote that down. She heard the pen. What are you doing? Taking notes. Stop being ridiculous. What was the bonus based on? What? Liam's 80,000. What metric? Strategic contribution. Define it. This is not a deposition. Not yet. Silence. Then her voice dropped. You would really do this to me? That was another thing Vanessa did well. She turned consequences into attacks. I didn't approve the bonus. I said. I didn't erase my name from the deck. I didn't give Liam my watch. I didn't authorize him to request model access. She said nothing. I continued. You did. You're my husband. And you're my CEO. That is not fair. No, I said. $800 was not fair. This is documentation. She breathed through her nose. Come to New York. Stand beside me at the roadshow. We'll fix the optics after. Optics. Not marriage. Not company. Optics. No. Ethan. No. If you skip New York, investors will ask questions. They should. Do not threaten me. I haven't started. She went quiet. When she spoke again, her voice was different, lower, controlled. Liam told me you might do something like this. I looked at the draft slide again. Did he? He said you would punish the company if you felt replaced. I nodded even though she could not see it. He's smarter than he codes. That's exactly what I mean. You're cruel when you're insecure. I saved the call recording. Then I said, "Good night, Vanessa." "Ethan, don't you dare hang up on." I hung up. At 9:42 p.m., Mara sent a secure link. Patent assignments. Original license. Founder IP holding docs. Review tonight. I opened the folder. There it was. Pulse Grid Core Architecture. Ethan Cole. Sole inventor. Pulse Grid Predictive Routing System. Ethan Cole. Sole inventor. Commercial use license. Helix Core Systems. Conditional. Clause 14.2. Misrepresentation of ownership. Unauthorized derivative use or removal of attribution may trigger review, suspension, or revocation. I read that clause 3 times. Then I opened the old private server console. Not the company dashboard. Mine. The one Vanessa used to call Ethan's bunker. She had laughed when I insisted we keep core licensing separate from company infrastructure. Paranoid, she had said. No, I had said back then. Experienced. She had kissed my forehead and called me dramatic. That was 5 years ago. Before Liam. Before the roadshow. Before my wife paid another man 100 times more than me for standing on my shoulders. I entered my passphrase. The system asked for biometric confirmation. Then a second key. Then a hardware token. I watched the green prompt blink. Pulse Grid Core License. Personally owned by Ethan Cole. Active commercial dependency. Helix Core Systems. Status. Valid. Review flag. None. I clicked into the Compliance tab. My cursor hovered over one button. Initiate External Commercial Dependency Review. Not shutdown. Not sabotage. Review. Legal. Documented. Clean. Mara would approve. Probably. Daniel would understand. Richard would smile for the first time in a month. I clicked. A warning appeared. This review may restrict future changes to authorized license dependencies. Continue? I clicked yes. Second warning. This action may affect investor-facing claims regarding product ownership. Continue? I clicked yes. Third warning. Are you sure? I looked across the room at our wedding photo. Vanessa smiling. Me looking at her like trust was permanent. Behind the photo, Liam's visitor badge sat in a cardboard box. I said, "That's the point." Then I clicked confirm. At 10:03 p.m., the system generated a review ID. 10.04. Daniel texted me. "You did it." 10.05. Mara texted. "I hope you preserved the confirmation page." I sent her the screenshot. At 10.07, Richard texted. "Now we have a board matter." 10.09. Vanessa texted. "Why did Liam just lose access to the demo environment?" I stared at her message. Then another came. "Vanessa. Ethan. Answer me." Then another. "Vanessa. We have New York in 36 hours. Then one from Liam. "Liam, whatever you think you're doing, you're hurting Vanessa, not me." I screenshotted all of them. Then I turned off the living room lights. I did not answer my wife. I did not answer her assistant. I did not sleep much either. At 2:16 a.m., an automated alert hit my phone. Unauthorized model export attempt blocked. User. Liam Chase. Device. Vanessa Cole's executive laptop. Location. Atelier Meridian private Wi-Fi. I sat up. For the first time all day, I smiled for real. Not because I was happy. Because grief had just become evidence. I forwarded the alert to Mara, Daniel, and Richard with one line. "Now it's clean." Mara replied first. "Preserve everything. Tomorrow we move." I looked at Vanessa's side of the bed. Empty. Then at the alert again. My wife thought she had chosen a man who could replace me. By morning, she would learn something worse. He had already tried to steal what he could not build. and I had built the system that caught him. By 7:18 a.m., Vanessa had called me 14 times. I did not answer. By 7:42, Liam had called me twice. I blocked his number. By 8:03, Daniel Price sent me a screenshot from the production dashboard. Demo environment degraded. Investor sandbox unavailable. Model registry locked under license review. 3 hospital client simulations unaffected. I stared at the last line for a second. Unaffected. Good. I was not burning patients to punish my wife. I was not shutting down hospitals to prove a point. I was freezing investor-facing claims and unauthorized derivative access. Clean. Narrow. Documented. Mara would like that. Vanessa would not. At 8:11, my phone buzzed again. Vanessa, get to the office. Now. Then another. Vanessa, New York deck rehearsal is at 9. We need Pulse Grid online. Then another. Vanessa, do not make me come get you. I typed one sentence. Ask Liam. He builds momentum. I looked at it. Then I deleted it. Every word now either helped me or helped them. I showered. I shaved. I put on a charcoal suit Vanessa once said made me look like I was testifying before Congress. That felt appropriate. At 8:55, I walked into Helix Core Systems with my laptop bag, a coffee, and a folder Mara had sent by courier before sunrise. The receptionist, April, looked up. Her eyes widened. Mr. Cole. Morning. They're in Apollo. Of course they are. Apollo was the glass conference room Vanessa used when she wanted people to know she was angry. Transparent walls. Long table. Screen big enough to make a bad quarter look fatal. As I walked down the hall, engineers looked at me and looked away. No one said anything. That was fine. Silence was safer for them. Daniel stood near the DevOps bullpen. Arms folded. He had not shaved. He looked like a man who had spent the night watching a burglar jiggle the locks. You saw the attempt? He asked quietly. I did. Vanessa says it was a misunderstanding. Whose laptop? Her executive MacBook. Whose user session? Liam's temporary admin profile. I stopped. Daniel's mouth tightened. Temporary admin profile? I asked. Created yesterday at 6:32 p.m. by Vanessa's credentials. Preserve it. Already imaged. Good. He handed me a USB drive. What's this? Access logs. Export attempts. Credential creation. Device fingerprint. Network location. I looked at him. You slept here? No. He paused. Fine. Yes. I put the drive in my jacket pocket. You may have saved the company. Daniel snorted. I thought that was Liam's job. I almost smiled. Almost. Apollo's door was closed. Vanessa stood at the head of the table in a black blazer. Phone in hand. Jaw tight. Liam sat to her right. Tapping on a laptop like volume could replace competence. CFO Julia Markham sat 2 seats down. Pale and quiet. Head of sales, Brett Collins, kept rubbing his forehead. 2 investor relations people were whispering near the wall. When I opened the door, every conversation stopped. Vanessa looked up. You're late. I checked my watch. 5 minutes early. For the crisis you created. I didn't create the crisis. Liam gave a short laugh. Really? I looked at him. He had returned the Cartier. It sat on the table beside Vanessa's coffee. Not on his wrist. Progress. Vanessa pointed at the screen. Fix the demo environment. I sat at the far end of the table. No. The word landed hard. Brett stopped rubbing his forehead. Julia closed her eyes. Vanessa stared at me. No? No. Ethan. We have investors flying in tomorrow. We have Cedars Mount, Northwell, and 2 federal advisors watching the New York demo remotely. You don't get to say no. I do when the request involves a disputed license. Liam leaned back. Oh my God. This is insane. I opened my laptop. Vanessa stepped away from the screen and came toward me. Do not turn this into a legal stunt. I looked up. You approved an $80,000 bonus for your assistant while authorizing him to create a temporary admin profile on your laptop and attempt a model export at 2:16 a.m. Liam's fingers froze above the keyboard. Vanessa's face changed by a fraction. Julia opened her eyes. Brett looked at Liam. Liam recovered first. That is not what happened. I turned my laptop around. The log filled the screen. User: Liam Chase. Device: Vanessa Cole, Executive MacBook. Action: export _model _weights. Result: blocked. Timestamp: February 16th, 44. I said. Then explain what happened. Liam swallowed. That was a test command. Daniel, standing just outside the door, made a noise that was almost a laugh. Vanessa shot him a look. He did not move. A test command. I repeated. Yes. Liam said. We were troubleshooting. At 2:16 a.m. from Atelier Meridian's private Wi-Fi, we had a dinner. With investors. Vanessa said quickly. I looked at her. Did the investors ask Liam to export model weights? She said nothing. Liam snapped. You're twisting this. No, I'm reading it. Vanessa put both hands on the table. Enough. Ethan. Unlock the system. No. Her voice dropped. That was not a request. I leaned back. Then it was a failed command. For 1 second, no one breathed. Vanessa looked at the others. Everyone out. No one moved. She turned sharply. I said out. Julia stood first. Brett followed. The investor relations people left without looking at me. Daniel stayed at the door. Vanessa saw him. You too. Daniel. Daniel looked at me. I nodded. He left. But he did not go far. The door closed. Vanessa, Liam, and I remained inside. That was her mistake. She thought fewer witnesses meant more control. I started a recording on my phone and set it face down beside my laptop. Vanessa crossed her arms. Are you trying to destroy me? No. Then what do you call this? Boundary enforcement. Liam scoffed. You sound like a therapist with a law degree. I looked at him. And you sound like a man who tried to steal something too large for his pockets. His face reddened. Vanessa snapped. Stop attacking him. I let that sit. Then I said, there it is again. What? You protect him first. Her lips parted. No, I am protecting the company. Then ask him to open the system. Liam said. Gladly. He grabbed his laptop and connected it to the screen. Vanessa hesitated. I watched her hesitate. That mattered. Liam opened the terminal. His fingers moved fast. Too fast. Not confident. Performative. He entered a command. Permission denied. He entered another. Invalid token. He switched windows. Network cache. He muttered. I said nothing. He tried a third time. Core license unavailable for derivative access. The room went quiet. Liam's throat moved. Vanessa looked at him. Liam? I need a clean key. Then use yours. He did not answer. I folded my hands. Vanessa turned slowly toward me. What did you do? I initiated the license review. You had no right. I have every right. Helix Core owns PulseGrid. No. Her eyes sharpened. We built the company around it. You built the company around my permission to use it. That is the same thing. It is not. Liam slammed his hand on the table. This is exactly the problem. He wants everyone dependent on him. I turned my laptop back toward them and opened the first document. PulseGrid Core Architecture. Inventor. Ethan Cole. Filing date. 3 years before Helix Core Incorporation. Then the second. PulseGrid Predictive Routing System. Inventor. Ethan Cole. Assignee. Cole IP Holdings LLC. Then the commercial license. Helix Core Systems granted conditional commercial access. Vanessa stepped closer to the screen. Her eyes moved quickly. She knew the documents existed. She had signed them. What she had not known was that I still remembered every clause. I clicked clause 14.2. Misrepresentation of ownership. Unauthorized derivative use. Removal of attribution. Or attempted transfer of controlled model dependencies may trigger review, suspension, or revocation. Liam stared at the clause. That's boilerplate. No, I said. Boilerplate is what people sign without reading. This is the part one wrote because I read people. Vanessa looked at me. You wrote this because you didn't trust me? I wrote this before Liam. That is not an answer. It is. Her face tightened. Liam stood. We can rewrite it. I looked at him. What? The system, he said. We can rewrite the dependency. Build around it. Replace the core. I nodded slowly. Good. He blinked. Good? Yes. Show me. Vanessa said. Ethan. No. Let him. I turned the laptop toward Liam. Show me one commit with your name on it. Liam's mouth closed. Any repo, I said. Backend. Inference layer. API routing. Model validation. Deployment scripts. Anything. He looked at Vanessa. I smiled slightly. Don't look at her. She doesn't write code either. Vanessa flinched. Good. Some truths should not be shouted. Just placed. Liam pointed at me. You are bitter because the company moved past you. No. The company moved past the story where I was useful only in private. He laughed. You really think investors care who wrote some old algorithm? I clicked another tab. Cedars Mount Integration Contract. Technical Dependency. PulseGrid Core. Northwell Pilot Memorandum. Technical Dependency. PulseGrid Core. Series C Diligence Request. Confirm proprietary ownership and exclusive commercial control over PulseGrid engine. I looked at Vanessa. Investors care. Her breathing changed. Liam stepped away from the table. This is privileged company material. It is my material. You're stealing from Helix Core. I laughed once. He looked offended. Not scared. Offended. That told me everything. Liam had been living inside my company so long he thought access meant ownership. The door opened. Mara Whitman walked in with a black folder and the calm expression of a woman who had billed people into silence for 20 years. Vanessa turned. Mara? Mara nodded. Vanessa. Liam frowned. Who is this? My attorney, I said. Vanessa's eyes went cold. You brought a lawyer to my office? Mara placed the folder on the table. Technically, he brought counsel to a meeting involving intellectual property misuse, unauthorized access, disputed ownership claims, and possible fiduciary breaches. Liam looked at Vanessa. Vanessa ignored him. This is still my company, she said. Mara opened the folder. Then you should appreciate clarity. She slid 3 documents across the table. Notice of commercial license review. Notice of preservation of evidence. Notice to cease any investor-facing representation that Helix Core owns, controls, or may transfer PulseGrid Core without qualification. Vanessa did not touch them. Liam did. Mara looked at his hand. Mr. Chase, I would not handle documents addressed to the CEO unless you are authorized corporate counsel. He withdrew his hand. His jaw tightened. Vanessa read the first page. Her face went still. You cannot send this before New York. It has already been sent to outside director Richard Hayes. Mara said, it will be sent to the rest of the board within the hour unless we receive written confirmation that the current investor deck will be amended. Liam snapped. That would kill the roadshow. I looked at Vanessa. No, lying would kill it later. Vanessa's voice dropped. Ethan, tell her to leave. I leaned back. No, we are husband and wife. Not in this room. Her eyes flashed. Oh, now I'm just the CEO? You made that clear yesterday. That was a bonus meeting. No, that was a valuation. She looked away first. Small movement. Big answer. Mara slid another document toward me. I signed it. Vanessa watched the pen. What is that? Revocation of spousal authority over Cole IP Holdings. Her face went white. Excuse me? You were listed as emergency secondary contact. Mara said. That access is revoked. Vanessa stared at me. You removed me from your IP company? I removed an active conflict. You mean Liam? I mean you. That hit harder. For the first time all morning. She looked genuinely hurt. I hated that it still affected me. Then Liam moved closer to her. Vanessa, don't let him bully you. And the feeling died. Mara looked at Liam. Mr. Chase, did you attempt to export model weights from Ms. Cole's laptop at 2.16 this morning? Liam's expression changed. I don't answer to you. That may change. You threatening me? No. Preserving options. Vanessa said. He was helping me prepare. Mara turned to her. Prepare what? The roadshow. By exporting controlled model weights? Vanessa opened her mouth. No answer came. Mara nodded once. Good. We'll mark that as not explained. Liam scoffed. This is ridiculous. Mara pulled a single sheet from her folder. Then this should be easy. Please identify your technical contribution to PulseGrid. He laughed. I'm VP of Strategic Operations. That is not a technical contribution. I led commercialization. That is not authorship. I shaped the product narrative. That is not ownership. His face flushed. Vanessa said, Mara, enough. Mara did not look at her. Mr. Chase, did you write, train, test, document, deploy, secure, audit, or maintain the PulseGrid core model? Silence. Any part of it? Mara asked. Liam said nothing. I watched Vanessa watch him. That was the first crack. Not enough to matter. Enough to remember. 10.12. Julia Markham knocked on the glass. Vanessa opened the door. Julia looked from her to me to Mara. Board call in 15 minutes, she said. Richard requested emergency governance review. Vanessa's face tightened. He had no authority. Julia swallowed. He has 2 other directors joining. Liam muttered. Of course he does. Julia looked at him. Also, finance flagged the $80,000 bonus. Liam's head snapped up. Vanessa turned. What do you mean flagged? Julia held up her phone. Compensation committee never approved it. Vanessa said. It was discretionary. Executive discretionary caps at $25,000 without committee review. Liam said. That's not accurate. Julia looked at him like he had just stepped onto a trapdoor. It is my department. Liam. He shut up. Vanessa rubbed her forehead. I approved it. Julia nodded. I know. That's why legal wants it on the call. Mara wrote something down. Vanessa saw. Stop writing. Mara looked up. No. Vanessa's mouth tightened. The old Vanessa would have made the room bend. This room did not bend. 10.30. The board call began. Vanessa sat at the head of the table. Liam stood behind her chair. I sat opposite her. Mara sat beside me. Julia stayed near the wall with her laptop. Richard Hayes appeared on the screen first. Then board member Priya Sloan. Then Michael Trent from the venture fund. Richard did not waste time. Vanessa, did the company represent in the Series C deck that HelixCore owns PulseGrid? Vanessa folded her hands. The deck reflects commercial control. Richard stared at her. That was not my question. Liam leaned toward the speaker. Richard, with respect, this is being blown out of proportion by a founder having an emotional reaction to a compensation decision. Richard's eyes shifted. Who are you? Liam froze. Vanessa said. Liam Chase, VP of Strategic Operations. Richard said. I know his title. I asked why he is speaking. Mara's pen stopped. I looked down so no one would see my smile. Vanessa said. He's relevant to the roadshow. Richard replied. So is the coffee vendor. I don't need him on this call either. Liam's face went red. Vanessa said. Richard. No. Richard said. Mr. Chase leaves. Now. Liam looked at Vanessa. She hesitated. Again. Then she said. Quietly. Liam. Give us a minute. His eyes hardened. Seriously? Please. He picked up his laptop. On the way out, he looked at me. You'll regret this. I glanced at Mara. She said, thank you for that, Mr. Chase. He stopped. What? Nothing. Continue. He left. Daniel, outside the room, watched him go. Richard leaned closer to his camera. Now, did the company represent ownership it does not have? Vanessa inhaled. The language may need refinement. Priya Sloan said. That means yes. Michael Trent rubbed his chin. If the underlying IP is not owned by Helix Core, our term sheet changes. Vanessa said quickly. Operational rights remain intact. I spoke for the first time. Under review. All three directors looked at me. Vanessa's eyes cut across the table. Richard said, Ethan, define review. Helix Core keeps access for existing patient-safe operations. No shutdowns, no client harm, but investor demos, derivative model exports, and ownership claims are frozen until attribution and license compliance are corrected. Priya nodded slowly. That sounds reasonable. Vanessa stared at her. Reasonable? He locked our demo environment before New York. I said, after your assistant tried to export model weights from your laptop. Michael leaned forward. What? Mara slid the log to Julia. Julia shared her screen. The entry appeared. User. Liam Chase. Device. Vanessa Cole Executive MacBook. Action. Export _model _weights. Result. Blocked. Richard leaned back. Oh. Vanessa. She closed her eyes. Only for a second. Then she opened them and became CEO again. That was an internal troubleshooting attempt. Priya said. At 2:16 in the morning from a restaurant network? Vanessa had no answer. Michael said. Was the bonus approved by comp committee? Julia answered before Vanessa could. No. Richard said. Was Ethan's name removed from the Series C materials? Julia glanced at Vanessa. Yes. I opened my folder. Mara gave me one sheet. I slid it toward Julia. Show them this. Julia read it, then shared it. It was Liam's handwritten note. Reframe founder dependency. Ethan equals legacy tech. Liam equals scalable vision. Richard looked tired. Priya looked angry. Michael looked like money had begun walking away. Vanessa whispered, Where did you get that? Our dining table. She flinched. Not because of the paper. Because of the word hour. Richard said. Vanessa. Effective immediately. The New York Roadshow is paused pending governance review. Her head snapped up. You can't do that. Michael said. We can. And we are. Priya added. Investor materials will be corrected before any further presentation. Vanessa pressed her hand to the table. Pausing the roadshow could cost us the round. Richard looked at her. Misrepresenting IP could cost us the company. Silence. There it was. The first institutional consequence. Not anger. Not argument. Consequence. Vanessa looked at me. For one brief second. She was not CEO. She was my wife. Shocked that the floor had not held. Then Liam opened the door without knocking. We have a problem, he said. Everyone turned. Vanessa snapped. I told you to wait outside. He ignored her. His face had lost color. The investor sandbox is showing a license banner. I stood. What banner? He swallowed. Then Daniel appeared behind him, holding his phone. I can answer that. He walked in and turned the screen around. The Sandbox login page now displayed a legal notice. PulseGrid Core is owned by Ethan Cole/Cole IP Holdings LLC. Commercial access under review. Unauthorized derivative use prohibited. Richard stared. Then he laughed once. Not loudly. Just enough. Vanessa looked at me like I had struck her. You put your name on the product? I picked up my folder. No. Vanessa. I put it back. Liam pointed at me. This is sabotage. I looked at him. Show me one line of code that says that. He did not move. Daniel said. Actually, we also need to discuss something else. Vanessa turned on him. What now? Daniel looked at me first. I nodded. He connected his phone to the screen. A Slack message appeared. From Liam Chase to Vanessa Cole. Liam, we don't need Ethan. I backed up enough of the system. Timestamp, 2:23 a.m. Recipient group. Old founders. Ethan. Vanessa. Daniel. Liam had deleted it 11 seconds later. Not fast enough. The room went silent. Vanessa looked at the message. Then at Liam. Liam. He lifted both hands. That was out of context. I said, Good. Give us the context. He looked at me. then at the board screen, then at Vanessa. No answer. Mara closed her folder. Now it's clean. Vanessa turned slowly toward me. What does that mean? I stood. It means this is no longer just a marriage problem. It is no longer just a bonus problem. It is no longer even just an attribution problem. Mara picked up the preservation notice. It is attempted IP theft. Liam laughed, but his voice cracked. That is insane. Richard's face had gone flat. Mr. Chase, he said, leave the building. Liam stared at the screen. What? Richard repeated. Leave the building. Vanessa stood. Richard, he is part of my executive team. No, Richard said. He is now part of an investigation. Liam looked at Vanessa. For the first time since I had met him, he did not look smug. He looked young. Vanessa, he said. She did not answer fast enough. Security arrived 2 minutes later. Liam tried to make it look voluntary. It was not. He grabbed his laptop. Daniel stopped him. Company device stays. Liam's face twisted. You can't take my laptop. Daniel held out his hand. It was purchased through HelixCore procurement. So yes, I can. Liam looked at Vanessa. She whispered, give it to him. He stared at her like she had betrayed him. That almost made me laugh. He placed the laptop on the table. Daniel picked it up with 2 fingers. Thanks. As Liam walked out, he leaned toward me. This isn't over. I looked at the security guard. Document that. The guard nodded. Vanessa sat down slowly. The board call ended with 3 decisions. New York Roadshow paused. Investor materials frozen. Independent audit initiated. Vanessa remained CEO, but all IP-related communications now required board review. She did not speak for nearly a minute after the screen went dark. Then she said my name. Ethan. I packed my laptop. No, I didn't know he sent that message. You knew enough. She stood. I was trying to protect the company. No, you were trying to protect the version of the company where I stayed quiet. Her eyes reddened. Don't do this here. I looked around the conference room. This is exactly where you did it to me. She pressed her lips together. You're enjoying this. I shook my head. I enjoyed building with you. This is cleanup. That hit her. Good. It hit me too. I walked to the door. Vanessa said, if you leave now, you may not have a company to come back to. I turned. I'm not coming back to the company you built around erasing me. She had no answer. At 12:46 p.m., I left HelixCore with Mara beside me and Daniel behind us carrying Liam's laptop in an evidence bag. At 12:52, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then a text came. Unknown. You think logs prove theft? Wait until investors hear how unstable you are. I showed Mara. She read it once. Liam? Probably. Good. That's your favorite word today. No, she said. My favorite word is subpoena. At 1:10 p.m., Vanessa finally texted. Vanessa, please don't make this public. I stared at the message. For the first time in 24 hours, she had said please. Not because she missed me, because the board had seen the logs, because Liam had been escorted out, because New York was paused, because $800 had turned into a licensing dispute she could not control. I did not reply. At 1:14, another message came. Vanessa, I need to know what you want. I looked at Mara. She raised an eyebrow. I typed 1 sentence. Everything that belongs to me. This time, I sent it. Vanessa did not cancel New York. She renamed it. At 6:08 p.m., an updated calendar invite hit my inbox. HelixCore Series C Investor Alignment Session. Not roadshow. Not presentation. Alignment. That was Vanessa's favorite word when she wanted people to stop asking what had changed. 6:11. Mara called. You saw it? Yes. She's trying to hold the room before the board can stop her. I know. Do not attend alone. I won't. Do not speak unless we've agreed on language. I know. And Ethan? What? If Liam shows up, do not react. I looked at the text Liam had sent from the unknown number. Wait until investors hear how unstable you are. I won't react, I said. I'll record. Good. At 6:30, Richard Hayes called. He did not bother with hello. Your wife is attempting to run the meeting as a CEO update instead of a fundraising presentation. Can she? She can stand in a room and talk. She cannot make investors believe her. That never stopped her before. Richard paused. That sounded like a husband. It was. Tomorrow. Be the inventor. I looked at the PulseGrid license file open on my desk. I planned to be the owner. Better. At 7:02, Daniel sent me the forensic image summary from Liam's laptop. Subject line: You're going to want coffee. I opened it. There were folders. Investor Deck Final. Investor Deck Final Reel. Investor Deck Final Use This. Then one named Post Ethan Transition. I clicked. Inside were 3 files. Founder Dependency Narrative.docs. PulseGrid Rewrite Cost Estimate.xlsx. Vanessa Talking Points Ethan Risk.docs. I read the last one first. If Ethan challenges ownership. Frame as emotional founder resistance. Emphasize company continuity. Say architecture evolved beyond original code. Do not discuss clause 14.2. Do not let him speak technically. I sent it to Mara. Her reply came in 9 seconds. Beautiful. Then another. Terrible. But beautiful. I opened the spreadsheet. PulseGrid Rewrite Cost Estimate. Estimated rewrite time. 18 months. Estimated engineering cost. $9.6 million. Estimated risk to existing clients. High. Estimated risk to Series C close. Severe. At the bottom, one cell was highlighted yellow. Recommendation: secure funding before disclosing dependency. I stared at that line. Not fix the issue. Not tell the truth. Secure funding before disclosing dependency. Liam had not been stupid. He had been early. Vanessa had not been blind. She had been impatient. 7:40. Vanessa texted. Vanessa, we need to talk tonight. No lawyers. I replied through Mara. All communication regarding company. AP. Assets. Or Liam Chase goes through counsel. 2 minutes later, Vanessa called from a blocked number. I answered and said nothing. Nate. She had not called me Nate in months. Not when investors were around. Not when Liam was in the room. Not when she needed me to fix something without reminding anyone I existed. Nate, please don't do this through lawyers. I stayed silent. I know you're angry. Still silent. I know yesterday was handled badly. Handled badly. Not wrong. Handled. Say something. She whispered. I said, Is Liam with you? Silence. Then a small breath. No. Are you using his phone? No. Are you calling from a blocked number because Mara told you not to contact me directly? Her voice tightened. I'm calling because you're my husband and the CEO of a company under license review. That company is ours. No, the company is yours. The technology is mine. That's not how marriage works. It is how contracts work. She made a sound like I had slapped her. You've changed. No. I stopped translating disrespect into stress. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, quietly, Liam told me you would become cruel. I closed my eyes. There it was again. Liam's hand inside her mouth. Did Liam also tell you he estimated 18 months and nearly $10 million to replace PulseGrid? She did not answer. Did he tell you he wrote secure funding before disclosing dependency? Her breath caught. Good. She knew the file. Ethan, you knew. I knew there was risk. You knew the deck was misleading. I knew investors needed confidence. No, you knew they needed ignorance. Her voice sharpened. You think this is simple because you build systems. People are not systems. Contracts are. You are going to humiliate me tomorrow. I'm going to correct the record. Same thing. No, humiliation is what you did with the bonus slide. She went quiet. Then, softer. I didn't think you would care about the money. I didn't. Then why? I cared that you wanted everyone to know I was worth less than him. Her breathing changed. I had reached the person under the blazer. For a second. Then she buried her again. You can still come tomorrow as co-founder, she said. We can present a united front. Will my name be on the deck? A pause. That's being revised. Will Pulse Grid ownership be corrected? Another pause. We need to phrase that carefully. Will Liam be there? Longer pause. I laughed once. That's my answer. He has relationships with 2 of the funds. He has relationships with my code too. He keeps trying to touch it. Nate, do not use that name while defending him. Silence. Then she said, I don't know how we got here. I did. I got there one swallowed insult at a time. One late-night emergency at a time. One investor dinner where I stayed home to keep the product alive while Vanessa learned to call my absence poor leadership. One assistant who walked into my house, my boardroom, my marriage, and found every door opened by the woman I trusted. But I did not say any of that. I said, we got here on record. Then I ended the call. The next morning, I flew to New York with Mara. Vanessa flew private with Liam. I knew because Richard sent me the manifest. Passenger 1, Vanessa Cole. Passenger 2, Liam Chase. Passenger 3, Brett Collins. No lawyers. No CFO. No CTO. No inventor. Just the CEO, the salesman, and the man who thought a backup folder made him a genius. Mara read the manifest on the plane and said, she's choosing the wrong witness. She keeps doing that. Good for us. Bad for her. At 3:30 p.m., we arrived at the hotel near Bryant Park where HelixCore had booked the investor session. Richard met us in the lobby. He wore a navy suit, no tie, and the expression of a man who had already decided who would bleed first. Vanessa is upstairs, he said. Liam is setting up the demo. Mara looked at me. I looked at Richard. He's touching the demo? Richard nodded. Daniel? In the AV room. I smiled. Richard noticed. What? Nothing. That was not nothing. That was a man walking into a camera. Richard smiled back. Good. The meeting room was full by 4. 12 investors. 2 hospital executives. 1 federal procurement consultant. 3 board members. Vanessa at the front in a white blazer. Hair pulled back. Face calm enough to sell a bridge during an earthquake. Liam stood beside the screen with a clicker. He had changed his suit. He had not changed his face. When he saw me, he smiled. Not with confidence. With defiance. Vanessa saw me next. Her eyes moved to Mara. Then Richard. Then the folder in my hand. For the first time, her smile took effort. She tapped the microphone. Thank you all for coming on short notice. Yesterday's internal governance questions created some confusion around our Series C timeline. But I want to be clear. HelixCore remains fully operational, fully focused, and fully committed to changing clinical decision intelligence at scale. Good sentence. Empty sentence. Investors like those. She clicked to the first slide. HelixCore 2.0. The next era of clinical AI infrastructure. No Pulse Grid. No Ethan. No ownership. Just fog. Vanessa continued. Our platform has evolved far beyond its earliest technical foundation. What began as a founder-led architecture has become a scalable enterprise system led by a world-class operations team. Richard leaned toward me. Founder-led architecture. He muttered. Mara wrote something down. Liam stepped forward. Exactly. Vanessa. And that's the point. HelixCore is no longer dependent on any one person. He looked at me when he said it. I did not move. He clicked. A flowchart appeared. HelixCore intelligence layer. Under it, data ingestion, clinical routing, predictive priority engine, decision interface. They had changed the name, not the dependency. Liam said, we've rebuilt the platform around modular control points, which means the system can operate independently from legacy founder infrastructure. One investor raised his hand. Is Pulse Grid part of that legacy infrastructure? Vanessa answered before Liam could. Pulse Grid was an early component. I stood. Mara touched my wrist. Not yet. I sat. The investor looked unsatisfied. Liam smiled. We can show you live. That was the moment. Mara whispered. Now let him. Liam turned to the demo laptop. Daniel's face appeared briefly in the AV booth window. He did not smile. That was how I knew he was enjoying himself. Liam entered his login. The screen loaded. Helix Core 2.0 Investor Sandbox. He clicked Run Clinical Routing Simulation. A spinning icon appeared. Then a red banner. License conflict detected. Core model signature invalid. Contact rights holder. Cole IP Holdings LLC. The room went silent. Liam clicked again. Same banner. He forced a laugh. Looks like our test environment is catching up to a security update. Daniel's voice came over the room speakers. No, it's not. Every head turned toward the AV booth. Vanessa's face went flat. Daniel, she said, mute yourself. Daniel did not. The system is functioning correctly, he said. The demo is blocked because the current deck describes Helix Core as independently controlling a core dependency it does not own. One of the hospital executives leaned forward. Is that true? Vanessa said. This is an internal licensing matter. I stood. This time Mara did not stop me. It is an investor disclosure matter. Vanessa's eyes flashed. Ethan. I walked to the front slowly. Not dramatic. Just enough time for everyone to understand I had not been invited there to help. Mara handed me the court-stamped preservation notice. I gave it to the event coordinator. Please show the supplemental disclosure packet. Vanessa stepped toward me. No. Richard stood. As a board member, I authorize it. Liam said. You can't hijack a private investor meeting. Mara replied. You mean preserve one? The screen changed. First slide. Pulse Grid Core Architecture. Sole inventor. Ethan Cole. Owner. Cole IP Holdings LLC. Commercial licensee. Helix Core Systems. Someone whispered. Oh. Second slide. Clause 14.2. Third slide. Liam's handwritten note. Reframe founder dependency. Ethan equals legacy tech. Liam equals scalable vision. Liam's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Fourth slide. Vanessa talking points Ethan risk. Docs. Do not let him speak technically. An investor laughed under his breath. Not kindly. Fifth slide. Pulse Grid rewrite cost estimate. 18 months. $9.6 million. Risk to Series C close. Severe. Then the highlighted line. Secure funding before disclosing dependency. The room shifted. Money knows the sound of a trap closing. Vanessa stared at the screen. Her lips parted. But she did not speak. Liam did. These are stolen internal documents. Mara turned to him. From the company laptop you surrendered during an IP theft investigation. He swallowed. They're taken out of context. I looked at him. Then give the context. He looked at Vanessa. Again. Always. But this time she did not save him. The investor from Northbridge Capital spoke first. Ms. Cole. Did Helix Core know it could not replace Pulse Grid without significant delay? Vanessa said carefully. We knew replacement would require work. Did you know that before circulating the valuation memo? She did not answer fast enough. Richard said. Answer. Her jaw tightened. Yes. Another investor asked. Did you disclose that risk? Vanessa looked at Liam. He looked down. No, she said. The word landed like a dropped glass. Liam stepped forward. Vanessa relied on product input from my team. My team. Daniel made another sound from the AV booth. This time no one stopped him. I turned to Liam. Name one engineer on your team. He glared at me. Excuse me? One. He said nothing. Name one repository you managed. Silence. One deployment you approved. Silence. One incident you resolved. His face turned red. Vanessa whispered. Liam. Stop. Too late. He pointed at her. She approved the deck. The room went colder. Vanessa turned slowly. What? Liam's eyes moved too fast now. She approved the language. She approved the investor strategy. She told me Ethan wouldn't care about credit as long as the company won. A small sound came from Vanessa's throat. Not grief. Shock. She was not shocked he had lied. She was shocked he had lied against her. I leaned toward Mara. There it is. Mara nodded. The crack. Vanessa said, very quietly, Liam. He took a step back. I'm not taking the fall for a marital meltdown. Richard said. No one asked you to speak. Liam ignored him. He looked at the investors. Ethan has been unstable for months. He was jealous of my role. Vanessa was trying to keep the company functional while he held the product hostage. I opened my phone. Mara said, Ethan. I know. I tapped play. My recording from the bonus meeting filled the speakers. Liam's voice came first. Don't take it personally. Man, some people build products. Some people build companies. Then Vanessa. Do not embarrass me in front of the team. Then Liam again. 800 buys a nice dinner. The room listened. Vanessa closed her eyes. Liam looked like he wanted to rip the speakers off the wall. I stopped the recording. That was before the license review. I said, before the failed export. Before the deleted message. Before this meeting. That is not instability. That is motive. One of the federal consultants asked, was any client data accessed during the attempted export? Daniel answered from the AV booth. No client data. The export targeted model weights. It was blocked. By whom? Daniel looked at me. By Ethan's licensing system. For the first time that day. Someone in the room looked at me not like a founder in a divorce, but like the only adult near the server. Vanessa noticed. It hurt her. Good. Richard stood. On behalf of the board, the Series C process is suspended pending correction of IP disclosures, completion of forensic review, and evaluation of executive conduct. Vanessa turned sharply. Richard, you cannot announce that here. I just did. The Northbridge investor closed his folder. We're out until this is resolved. Another said, same. The hospital executives exchanged a look. One of them said, our pilot depends on operational continuity. We need written assurance Mr. Cole's technology remains available for clinical use. I answered, it does. Existing patient-safe operations remain unaffected. Vanessa looked at me. That surprised her more than the attack. She had expected revenge. I had brought boundaries. The hospital executive nodded. Send that in writing. Mara will. Liam grabbed his laptop bag. Daniel's voice came over the speakers again. Mr. Chase, that bag contains a company tablet. Liam froze. Security moved before he could decide whether to run. He dropped the bag on a chair. This is insane, he said. No one disagreed. That made it worse. Vanessa stood at the front of the room, hands at her sides, watching the investors leave one by one. No applause. No closing statement. No momentum. Just chairs pushing back and money walking out. When the last investor left, she turned to me. Her eyes were wet, but she refused to let the tears fall. You planned this. Yes. You wanted me humiliated. No. She laughed once. Broken. No. I wanted the record corrected. You made sure there was an audience. Liam snapped. She trusted you. I turned to him. No. She trusted you. That's why she loses. He stepped toward me. Mara said, careful. He stopped. Vanessa looked at him then. Really looked. For the first time. She saw what I had seen for months. Not talent. Not vision. Need-wearing ambition like a suit. Did you write that estimate? She asked. Liam said nothing. Did you know it would take 18 months? He swallowed. Vanessa. Did you know? Yes. But. She flinched. There it was. Not enough to save her. Enough to wound her. Richard walked to the front. Vanessa. Board call in 30 minutes. She did not look at him. She looked at me. Nate. I shook my head. Not here. Her mouth trembled. Please. I picked up my folder. Liam is waiting for you to save him again. She turned. Liam was watching her exactly that way. Not with love. With expectation. That was the difference she had mistaken for loyalty. I walked out with Mara. Daniel joined us in the hallway. He handed me another printed log. What's this? Something from Liam's company tablet. Mara took it first. Her face changed. I looked at her. What? She handed me the page. Wire transfer approval request. Vendor. Chase Strategic Advisory LLC. Amount. $1.700.000. Prover. Vanessa Cole. Status. Pending release after Series C close. I read it twice. Then I looked back through the glass wall. Vanessa stood alone now. Liam was gone. Richard was on his phone. The chairs were empty. Mara said, "This just became bigger." Daniel nodded. "He wasn't trying to replace you." I folded the page once and put it in my folder. "No," I said. "He was trying to cash out before she noticed." Behind the glass, Vanessa finally sat down. Not like a CEO, like someone whose chair had been pulled away after she had already trusted it. My phone buzzed. A text from her. "Vanessa. Ethan. What did he do?" I looked at the transfer request. Then at my wife. For once, I answered. "Everything you gave him access to." Vanessa called me 21 times after the transfer request surfaced. I answered none of them. At 8:14 p.m., Mara sent her one message. All communication regarding Liam Chase. Chase Strategic Advisory LLC. Helix Core Funds. Pulse Grid. And marital assets must go through counsel. At 8:17, Vanessa replied, "Mara, I need to speak to my husband." Mara forwarded it to me with one sentence. "She does not get to choose which role matters now." I put the phone down. Then it buzzed again. "Daniel. Liam just tried to wipe his company tablet remotely. Did it work?" "No." "Good." "Also, he logged into his Chase Strategic account from JFK Wi-Fi." I stood. "Airport. Terminal 5. Destination. Checking." Mara called before Daniel came back. "Liam is at JFK." I said. "I know. Daniel sent me the log. Can we stop him? We can notify corporate counsel, board security, and financial crimes. We cannot personally stop anyone." "I know. You sound like you don't." "I'm learning." "Good. Keep learning." Richard is filing an emergency injunction tonight to freeze disputed company transfers. Vanessa will be suspended by morning. That sentence should have felt good. It did not. Felt final. At 9:02, Richard called from the board's temporary legal room. "Ethan," he said, "we have a problem and a gift." Gift first. Liam's pending $1.7 million advisory transfer was tied to successful close of the Series C round. It was not approved by finance. Problem? Vanessa's authorization is attached. I closed my eyes. She signed it? Digitally. Could Liam have used her credentials? Maybe. But there is a message. Richard paused. What message? He read it. Vanessa to Liam. Once the round closes, process it as strategic advisory. Keep it quiet until after the board ratifies expansion. I said nothing. Richard said, "Ethan, I'm here. I'm sorry. Don't be. Send it to Mara." Already did. At 9:40, Vanessa appeared at my gate. Security called first. "Mrs. Cole is outside." "She alone?" "Yes, sir." "Keep the gate locked." I opened the camera feed. She stood under the light in the same white blazer from the investor session. Her hair was no longer perfect. Her phone was in one hand. A folder was in the other. She pressed the call button. I answered through the speaker. "Send it to Mara." Her eyes lifted toward the camera. "I'm not here about documents." "Then you're at the wrong house. Nate, please, don't." Her mouth trembled. "I didn't know he was going to run." "Did you know about the advisory transfer?" She looked down. That answered first. "I thought it was compensation." "For what?" "For helping secure the round." "He didn't secure the round." "I know that now." "No, you know it because he failed." She wiped under one eye with her thumb, angry at the tear more than the pain. "I made mistakes. That is a small word for fraud. I did not commit fraud." You hid dependency risk from investors. I was trying to protect the company. You authorized Liam to profit from that lie. She closed her eyes. When she opened them, the CEO was gone. My wife stood there. Too late. I thought if we got the round closed, everything would stabilize. She said, we'd have money. We'd have time. You'd calm down. Liam would stop pushing. I looked at her through the screen. You heard yourself, right? She pressed the folder to her chest. I defended the wrong person. Yes. I trusted the wrong person. Yes. I hurt you. I said nothing. She leaned closer to the speaker. Nate, I hurt you. The old me would have opened the gate for that sentence. The old me would have walked down the driveway. The old me would have told security it was fine. But the old me had sat in a conference room while my wife watched another man tell the company I was legacy tech. The old me was worth $800. I heard you, I said. Her lips parted. That's it? That's more than you gave me. She flinched. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen. Even through the camera, I saw the name, Liam. For a second, neither of us moved. Then I said, answer it. She shook her head. Answer it. Her hand trembled as she accepted the call and put it on speaker. Liam's voice came sharp and panicked. Vanessa, where are you? She looked at the gate camera. With Ethan. You need to stop talking to him. Her face changed. What did you do? I protected myself. What did you do? Liam? He breathed hard. You signed the advisory authorization. You told me it was standard. It is standard. Then why are you at JFK? Silence. There it was. Clean. Useful. Mara would love it. Liam said, lower now. Listen to me. If I go down, I'm not going down alone. Vanessa went still. What does that mean? It means you approved the deck. You approved the bonus. You approved the transfer language. You wanted Ethan off the materials. Her eyes closed. Liam continued. You can cry to him now. But you were fine when it was working. I watched her face as the truth landed. Not my truth. That was worse. Liam. She whispered. Did you ever build anything? He laughed once. You really sound like him now. Answer me. I built access. That sentence did more damage than any insult I could have given her. I said through the speaker. Thank you, Liam. Silence. Then he snapped. Is he recording? I did not answer. Vanessa looked at the camera. For the first time, she understood me completely. Yes, she said. He is. Liam cursed and hung up. Vanessa lowered the phone slowly. I said, send the call log and recording to Mara. She whispered, I don't have a lawyer. You need one. That cold? No. Accurate. She stood there for another minute. Then she said, did I lose you today? No. Her eyes filled again. You lost me when you taught him he could stand on my work and call it leadership. I cut the speaker. Security walked her back to the car. At 11:30 p.m., Liam Chase was detained at JFK before boarding a flight to London. Not arrested yet. Detained. There is a difference. Mara reminded me 3 times. Do not exaggerate. Do not say arrested. Do not say charged. Say detained for questioning. Fine. You hate precision until it saves you. I like precision. You like vengeance. No, I said. I like receipts. By morning, the board had suspended Vanessa as CEO pending investigation. The notice was short. Temporary administrative leave. Removal from Financial Approval Authority. Mandatory preservation of communications. Independent forensic audit. Interim executive authority assigned to Richard Hayes. At 8:02 a.m., Helix Core employees received the email. At 8:06, someone leaked it to a tech newsletter. At 8:18, the headline appeared. Helix Core CEO suspended amid IP ownership dispute and failed Series C roadshow. At 8:20, Mara texted me. Do not read comments. I read them. Bad idea. Some called me bitter. Some called Vanessa reckless. Some called Liam a fall guy. One comment from an anonymous engineer simply said, Ethan built it. Everyone knew. I stared at that one longer than I should have. At 10 a.m., the board convened in the same Apollo conference room where Vanessa had told me to fix the demo. This time, she was not at the head of the table. Richard sat there. Vanessa sat on the left. Attorney beside her. She wore gray. No microphone. No Liam. No Cartier watch. Her hands stayed folded in front of her. But her knuckles were white. I entered with Mara. Daniel was already there. Julia too. The chair where Liam usually sat was empty. I liked it that way. Richard opened the meeting. We are here to resolve immediate operational risk, IP access, executive misconduct concerns, and investor disclosure remediation. Vanessa's attorney raised a hand. My client disputes intentional wrongdoing. Mara said. Noted. Vanessa looked at me. I looked at Richard. He nodded. Ethan, he said. The board needs your terms for continued PulseGrid access. Vanessa's face tightened at the word terms. I opened my folder. 3 conditions. Richard leaned back. Go ahead. 1. Helix Core publicly corrects all attribution. PulseGrid Core was invented by me, owned by Cole IP Holdings, and licensed conditionally to Helix Core. Vanessa looked down. 2. Vanessa resigns as CEO. Her head lifted. The room went still. Her attorney said, that is excessive. I looked at him. No. Excessive was authorizing a $1.7 million advisory transfer to a man who could not name one repository. Daniel coughed. Julia looked at the table. Richard said, continue. 3. Helix Core may keep operating under a new license. Triple the current fee. Independent technical oversight. No investor material released without IP review. No executive access to model registry without dual approval from engineering and legal. Vanessa stared at me. You're taking the company from me. No, you are. I'm taking back the thing you built it on. Her eyes reddened. Richard said, the board will consider the terms. No, I said. He blinked. No, you do not need to consider them. You need to accept or lose PulseGrid when the review period closes. Vanessa's attorney leaned forward. That sounds coercive. Mara slid the license agreement across the table. It sounds contractual. Richard read the clause again, though he already knew it. Julia spoke quietly. If we lose PulseGrid, we lose the hospital pilots. Daniel added, and the platform. Vanessa whispered, not all of it. Daniel looked at her. Vanessa. She closed her mouth. That single word carried 5 years of engineering truth. Richard looked around the table. All in favor of accepting Mr. Cole's operational terms as the basis for emergency license continuation? One by one. Hands rose. Julia. Priya on video. Michael on video. Richard. Vanessa's hands stayed folded. She did not get a vote. Richard turned to her. Vanessa. The board will require your resignation as CEO. She swallowed. And if I refuse? Mara opened another document. Then Cole IP Holdings proceeds with license termination. And the board proceeds with cause review under the executive misconduct clause. Vanessa looked at her attorney. He did not save her. That was becoming a theme. Vanessa picked up the pen. Her hand shook once. Then steadied. She signed. Vanessa Cole, Chief Executive Officer. Then under it. Resigned. She pushed the paper away like it was hot. I felt nothing for a second. Then too much. Then nothing again. Richard exhaled. Effective immediately. Vanessa stood. No one stopped her. At the door. She turned back. Ethan. I looked at her. She seemed smaller without the title in front of her. Was I really worth nothing to you? That was unfair. That was Vanessa. Even broken. She knew where to press. I answered anyway. You were worth everything. Her lips trembled. That was the problem. She closed her eyes. I continued. I gave you a company, a marriage, and a name investors trusted. You gave me $800 and called it appreciation. She did not defend herself. That was new. I'm sorry, she said. Mara's pen stopped. Richard looked away. Daniel lowered his eyes. I waited. The words came again. Quieter. I'm sorry, Ethan. I nodded. Not forgiveness. Acknowledgement. Then she left the room. 2 weeks later, Liam was formally charged with wire fraud, attempted theft of trade secrets, and unauthorized computer access. Vanessa was not charged. Not then. She cooperated. That was what Mara called it. I called it late honesty. The audit found enough to ruin Liam and enough to end Vanessa's career as a public company track CEO. She had not written the malicious code. She had not created the shell vendor. She had not tried to flee. But she had opened doors. She had signed things she should have questioned. She had chosen speed over truth, optics over ownership, Liam over me. Negligence with a wedding ring was still betrayal. The divorce took 4 months. She fought less than I expected. Maybe because she was tired. Maybe because her attorney was good. Maybe because every fight came with another exhibit. Bonus slide. Watch photo. Deck revisions. Gate camera. Call recording. JFK log. Transfer request. By the end, she kept her condo in Soma, a portion of marital investments, and no access to coal IP holdings. I kept PulseGrid. I kept my shares. I kept the house. And I kept every lesson. 3 months after the Apollo meeting, Helix Core announced its restructuring. Valuation reduced from $1.2 billion to $90 million. Interim CEO, Richard Hayes. Technical Oversight Chair, Daniel Price. PulseGrid license restored under independent control. Public attribution corrected. The press release used clean words. Governance improvement. Leadership transition. Strategic reset. I knew what they meant. They meant the company survived because I did not burn what patients needed just to punish who hurt me. Vanessa sent one email after the release. Subject: I'm sorry. I did not open it. I forwarded it to Mara. Mara replied, you can read it when it no longer matters. I never did. 6 months later, I stood in a different conference room with a different team. No glass walls. No performance bonus slide. No assistant wearing my watch. The sign behind me said, Cole Systems. Our first client was a rural hospital network in Montana. Not flashy. Not billion-dollar. Useful. Daniel stood beside me as CTO. Mara sat in the back, pretending not to look proud. Richard invested personally, then told everyone he had only done it because I was finally less stupid. He was lying. Mostly. Before the demo, a young engineer named Maya Ortiz raised her hand. Ethan, do you want your name on the opening slide? The room went quiet. Daniel looked at me. I looked at the screen. PulseGrid Adaptive Care Routing. Built by Cole Systems. Under it, in smaller letters, original architecture by Ethan Cole. Engineering team, Maya Ortiz, Daniel Price, Aisha Reed, Ben Walker. I nodded. Yes. Maya smiled. Good. The demo ran clean. No license conflict. No false ownership. No hidden dependency. No one trying to erase the person who built the foundation. Afterward, Daniel handed me a coffee. You okay? I looked at the team laughing near the screen, then at the product dashboard, then at my phone, where Vanessa's unopened apology still sat buried under months of legal email. I am. You sure? No. He smiled. Better answer. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. For 1 second, my hand tightened. Then I looked. A text from Richard. Helix Core just signed your new license fee. Triple rate. Paid in advance. I showed Daniel. He laughed so hard Maya looked over. What? She asked. Daniel pointed at me. Ethan just got his bonus. I looked at the number on the wire confirmation. Then I remembered the slide. Liam Chase, $80,000. Ethan Cole, $800. I put the phone away. No, I said. I got my technology back. Daniel lifted his coffee. To ownership. I lifted mine. To documentation. He laughed. Mara called from the back of the room. To reading contracts before marrying CEOs. The room laughed. I did too. For real this time. Then I turned to the team. Let's build something nobody can steal. And this time, when the room applauded, I did not wonder what I was worth. I had already answered that. In writing,